the 9. This is the 9. All right, that's the quantum form of 9. I just quantified it for you. So if anybody ever wanted to know what gets deeper than 9, there goes overstanding, calculate. Now you're in a bigger mess because y'all talking about, oh, it's a simulation. All people talk about is that we're in a simulation, right? Not overstanding that word simulation is a simulation. And assimilation means it's based on what you know, the information that you have. So even with it being a simulation, you're not factoring in, okay, which you should, computer what? Science. What does computer science mean, Omari? It means you know how to what? Compute or calculate. You know how to do math. All right? If you don't know computer science, because science is to know, by the way. If you don't have computer science, then all of that will miss you. And you'll think what I'm doing is, they call it reaching. And what I tell y'all when people say he reaching, I said, well, then they need to grab what's in my hand. Because this part of it missed everybody in that conscious community. Why? Because they avoided the true light. So now they're walking around with moonlight trying to grow plants. They're walking around with moonlight trying to heat up rooms. They're walking in, oh, do I have to go further? Moonlight can't do any of those things. You understand that? So anybody coming up under the darkness, they can only go but so far. Yes, they will still have to those who are beneath what appears to be wisdom. Somebody sent me something, and 607 Unc was talking about financial literacy. He said, oh, okay, how you say he's fake? Isn't this real information? I said, that's normal, regular information about the world that, for one, is dying. That's absolutely nothing to do with the elect. You wanted financial literacy, you could have just studied it online. You didn't need, that's not a prophet. How is that divine information? That one of them, they really asked me, is it divine? What do you mean divine? That's money. That's mammon. What are they teaching you that's divine about mammon? The difference between debit and credit. That has something to do with their system. It has nothing to do with the Most High or God. It's damn near has nothing to do with Sophia either, which is a whole other thing, because Sophia wouldn't have had that particular money system. All right, in that day and time, if those beings ever existed. You see where the confusion comes in, right? So, like, look at the names. You'll see words like Confucius, which is that falsified, let's come together. Or falsified, let's coexist, right? Look at the words, confuse us. That's all they ever wanted to do. These people were not here to wake people up. These people were the Agent Smiths. And what y'all miss about the movie is if there were no Neo, all right? If there were no Neo, there would not have been a need for Agent Smith to focus on Neo. Agent Smith would have been busy doing what? Making sure all of those empty seeds, okay, seeds with no souls. Yeah, you were today old. Empty seeds. Y'all been saying it this whole time. All right? They wouldn't need to focus on Neo if he didn't exist in that reality. All they have to do was focus on the empty seeds, make sure nobody was yielding anything that would turn into a true light or a true soul. Notice in one of those movies of the trilogy that they had before the fourth one, all right, I think it was Revelations or Revolutions. Neo turned himself into what? Light. And that destroyed the whole system. He turned himself into light. Okay? Not darkness. Light. Why? Because that signifies and is proof of electricity. The elect can do that. The elect walk in and we get to zapping people as soon as we walk in on accident. The elect walk in, you touch them, you get electrocuted on accident. It's not even something that they're attempting to do. Okay? So that's why everybody gets stuck. It's not even just Neo as the one. Okay? The anagram for one. All right? It's also Neo anagram eon, a time period. And didn't we need Neo? Didn't we need that true light? Didn't we need the sun so that everybody could what? Wake up. When that sun comes up, what does that mean? It's time to get up, get things done, get active again. You've been in the what? Bunk or the bunkers hiding away in the caves for too long. And now you're in the golden age and y'all think that this is what's going to be required of you to ascend. No, the moon can't cause for any ascension at all. You with me? So this eon is of Neo, the golden age. And people have to activate themselves again, or they won't be able to grasp the science of the two lights to be able to figure out where they're supposed to go. And which side would they be on? Those who have the illusion of preparedness and readiness, or those who have the certainty of preparedness and readiness? 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. Okay? That split ain't even it, because you have the split that says, okay, here go these people, and here go these people. And then you have the ultimate goal here. Okay? These people will stay and go nowhere. If anything, they'll traverse these two planes back and forth without the ability to let go of the dilemma. These will be wise enough to stand here and say straight and narrow. All right? Remember, straight and narrow. What is straight? Straight. Okay? That's one way to say it or spell it, but also straight. Okay? This is dealing with water, something that separates two bodies of water, which is what? The Red Sea. Okay? And the Green Sea. All right, so the straight is where the two seas meet. But what does this even mean geographically? In geography, that is what's referred to as the Suez Canal. Okay, literally it separates the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. So this Green Sea is Mediterranean, which is a sign within itself. Medi, middle, Medi, the middle or centra. Okay, middle. All right. Terra, Mediterra. Okay, or Terranean. Meta, Terra. What? Nin or Neon. Okay. Neon, which becomes neon or neo or nin or nun. All right. And nun is a fish. Stay with me. This is the symbol they use for Jesus. Yes or no? How many people rode around seeing the Christians with that on their license plate? Why is that the symbol? It's not even a fish. It's what's referred to as a big fish. A big fish, which is a whale. All right. And here goes the sacred. Receive it or don't receive it. When Moses or Musa had to meet El Khadir at where the two seas meet on that strait to find his way to the Zeus channel. Okay, Zeus is just another way to say God. Okay, canal or channel. The place where you would meet God at as you crossed over from one rod to another. From Moses' staff, okay, and here's the center, up to Al Khadir's staff. All right, where you have the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, or as Roy G. Biv, okay? Where you go all the way from the destructive planes, the realms of deficiency, up to what's referred to as the MP, okay, or the mental plane, as the green light, or the heart chakra, up to divine truth, divine reality, and divine union with Anu, okay? And all of this is a part of every story you've ever read. It's calculatable or calculable with every story you've ever read. That same exact formula. And that's the formula of the 19 keys. All right? Or the keys or the spirits. All right? That come with 1 through 9. 19 keys. 1 through 9. How many spaces in between? 7. You see that? And that's that 7 right there. This is the hidden secret of El Quran. And I think I've explained that to y'all already. Some of y'all don't know it. Go read the 74th chapter of the Quran or Al Quran, 74th surah. All right. And you will see that they say over it is 19. And that's the only time they'll say 19. All right. And I think that's surah 74, ayah 30 to be exact. Okay. Where it says over it is 19. Where it'll start off by saying come out and extol. And you'll see the whole thing. So read Surah 74 of Al-Quran, which was, I think, that had something to do with the popes this time around the years, right? 88 keys. 88 keys or spirits on the piano board, all right? Where you have this and this, which is binary, and be lit up and enlightened. Walking around with that glow, right? Or that corona. Notice they called it what? Corona. Okay, do I got to keep going? They put that number right there. All right, and I told everybody, right? Everybody told me, oh, it's the beast, is the mark of the beast, is the da-da-da-da, global reset. I said, they talking about the Quran. It's right there. It's Quran or core 19. And what is the core of 19? 7 or G. Activation. They said they saw it. Somebody's crown was activating. Okay? Which means that what? They were facing a problem systemically or systematically. All right? Which takes you back to where? Computer science. And you have to understand computer science so you can know what's happening. So when someone come forth and say, we're about to make sure everybody, quote unquote, takes this thing called a VX, if you with me, this is computer technology or terminology. If I install a VX or inject the VX into a computer, what is it going to do? It's in turn going to find whoever the virus is, listen, and terminate it. Or whatever the virus is and terminate it. That's what a VX in computer science does. Go look it up. Don't believe me. Go look it up and go to computer. All right. Yep. Yeah, I still do that. I still got it. Computer mouse. All right. So this was a split. The moon dwellers got caught up in whether or not this was a thing. Right? And they got lost in the hoopla because they didn't know what they were talking about. They weren't even doctors. Right? But they got lost in that. And then only like one of us was out here saying, excuse me, this is a program in computer technology or computer science. That's a program. And you want to know what happens when they look for who these are and try to get rid of them. So y'all better be cautious. What everybody do? They ignored me. I even was talking to somebody, I ain't gonna say their names. Certain people, before they lost, I said, listen, I don't think you understand. You coming for groups of people. You coming for groups of people that are locked in with that same thing you call an agenda. All right? And you coming for groups of people and you not paying attention, they gonna come and terminate you. Because that's you saying, hey, I'm right here. All right, come get me. You little person, raise your hand. I'm right here, come get me. And then they surely but slowly, or slowly but surely, they came and terminated her and took her platform. She had to start over. I told her, I warned her before it happened. I said, they're going to come for your platform. You keep playing with those people because they all locked in. Locked in with what and who? They all locked in with this being right here. This nigga who be sitting there, his head pointing and shit. They all locked in with Baphomet up under the moon, which is why you saw them putting up his statues during 2020. So 2020 was a big year for what? Seeing. All right? But not everybody could see. Not everybody had the eye to see. Not everybody had the ear to hear. But somebody was the year of vision. But did they really see what happened? That's going to bother me. Did they really see what happened? What happened? They say, oh, there was a global reset. Oh, you mean there was a global split of Re and Set. What are you doing, Omari? I didn't know it got that deep. They never know. Okay, there was a global, and some of y'all who got my books, y'all already know I already explained all of this, didn't I? When I made the book, How to Fight COVID and Win. Okay. There was a global divide between Re, which is another way to spell it, go look it up, and Set. And people had to choose. And if you look, this is really on the wrong side within itself. You got to do a whole lot of calculating. All right? What do you think most people chose? They chose to settle. And then next thing you know, they were standing 6 feet apart from one another. Somebody come in and say, I'm going to give you $600 stimulus or simulus. Someone come in and say, what else? Oh, we need to build back better. Those are your B's. We need to, I'm going to just help you out. Build back better. 666, right? We're fighting for the soul of the nation. He said, what's going on here? Well, you were dealing with Kamala, all right? And you were dealing with what they referred to as Joe, who, what? Slept. Sleepy Joe, Kamala. Kamala meant lotus. Okay? As in the lotus flower that puts people to sleep. So they're not aware of what's going on in their reality. So again, nominally, you can solve things about people. And then in came, in 2016, before all of this, you had a ruler that came in with a what? A trump or a trumpet. Right? And it was blaring and it woke everybody up. And it was uncomfortable. People started hating it. They don't understand that this is an event. It's not a person. All right? So then they tried to sick everything that happened globally on him. But he said that Corona was what? Their new hoax. Remember, he said that. Because he'll slide it in. And that's what they do. That's what we do. He said, this is their new hoax. They're trying to do what? Steal, listen, an election. Remember that. Right? They were trying to steal voltage. Elect. They were trying to steal vote age. They were trying to steal the elect. They were trying to what? Defraud or fool the very elect. That's their new hoax. Huh? Okay, now watch what happens. He ends up winning a second presidency. What does this mean? It means that those who were practicing the demon craft, remember it was me who put that word out there, they ran with it. The demon craft had to go back to the drawing board of their sigils, right? And why? Because now, how are they going to charge or prosecute or persecute? Remember, Trump was like, it's not a prosecution, it's a persecution. How are they going to prosecute or persecute him for stealing an election after this election when he was being charged for saying the Democrats were doing it? So now they met with a dilemma. They don't know how to come for him anymore. Because now if y'all are going to come out and say he stole it, which is what they were trying to hint to, but they couldn't go out and say it because then it'll fire back on them. If y'all were going to try to say he stole it, then it will shut down all of that you can get locked up for saying that somebody or trying to push that people stole the election. So what do they have to hit him with? A coup. And they tried to plan that ahead of time. And that was where they remarketed a date. Remember this date? January 6th. Stand 6 feet apart. Let me give you a $600 stimulus. Let's build back better. Let he who have overstanding calculate the number of the beast. You understand? So, January 6th, they said Trump was responsible for an insurrection. Listen. He was responsible for the Capitol being raided or barged into. Right? Stay with me. Trump came out with a statement and said no true follower of his would ever damage property. We don't do that. That's what he was literally saying. We don't do that. That's not our thing. He was saying that there are people who do. And I ran into them. In 2020, do you want to know who they were called? Or what they were called? They were referred to as Black Bloc. They called themselves that. They also called themselves Antifa. Antifa. Huh? So people say, no, that's anti-fascist. Well, they go that word anti right there. They go that word black right there. They go that number 6. They go to 6. They go to 6. Da, 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 da. Okay, I think I'm understanding what's happening here. And then, not to mention, the word Biden was a weapon that belonged to Hades. It was called a bident. You had the trident and you had a bident. Okay? That was a weapon that belonged to Hades. It is a Joe Biden. Or Biden. Came in around the time of Kronos. Okay? Which was another Greek god, Kronos. All right? So you had Kronos, Koran, Corona. Okay? And then you have Kron. Because Kron was what? The god of time. Right? The god of time. Kron. So what was all this saying? Keep your eye on the time. And as time sped up, which it did, and y'all can acknowledge that, those who are bear witness to it, they said that they were going to speed up time. Why? For the sake of the elect. For the sake of the elect, and only the sake of the elect. Time would be sped up. So then you started to see more of what? The sun. Okay, there go the sun doing this thing. And what was happening? They were trying to cross it out. Some of y'all walk outside and y'all see this today. But why? Because this is one of the signs. This is one of the signs of the pyramid. Can you see it? Here go one side of the pyramid. Here go another side of the pyramid. Here go another side of the pyramid. Here go another side of the pyramid. And right there in the center is an activated pyramidal point, or central point of the pyramid, the capstone. Notice that the Georgia Guidestones, Georgia Guide Stones, were destroyed. Okay? And the capstone of the Georgia Guidestones said, let these stones here be a what? For an age, listen, of the real sun, or age of reason. Re is the sun. Ra. Rea. Ra. Reye. Ra. Sun. Age of reason. This is literally what was on the capstone of the Georgia Guidestones. Go look it up. Because most people don't understand. The Georgia Guidestones was a pyramid with 4 blocks and a capstone. Please go fact check me. And these people came through and bombed and destroyed part of the dark side, because all they've ever had, and they may be right, because Illuminati means elite, and elite is an etymology of elect. So they are at war with us, and you seeing it all the time in the comments. You seeing it all the time, how they run in when I challenge them. You seeing it all the time. All right? So this de-Illuminati thing is a misconception. That's why you hear me in a Dumb and Dumber song mention Illuminati on 2 accounts. One in referring to myself, another in referring to opposition. Because there are what? 2 lights. And one is not a light. One is not elect. So everybody trying to say chosen, they're not overstanding. They make a video, somebody named Smoke, which comes from the light that's not a light. Listen to what I'm saying. Chosen is to say elect, electrify. And when we speak, it's not to entertain. We speak to liberate, if you want to use those terms, or to make people free, to cause for them to be escaped or able to be escaped without having to be entertained or intertwined or stuck. Right? And there's no compromise with the elect. We're going to be who we are. They're not of the holy ones. They're not of the Hilo ones. They're not of the healer ones. They're not of the Halo ones. Okay? They may still be associated with the dragon. Because every time they seem like it's about to be some stuff they about to bring forward, all it does is just drag on. You know what I mean? They just drag on. Say, where are you going with these things, these claims, this imagery, where is it going? It don't go anywhere but into their pockets. That's it. After that, there's nothing. No changes in the world. You don't see it happening. What happened? Mobilize people to take credit for the changes that the ones who come with the true light make, so that people will see the true light coming thinking that we're a branch off or some beings we were here before. We were here before them. They just got here. And because of their will to sell their soul daily, y'all thinking that they're making more waves, not overstanding. That's not what wave. Not over. Okay. Yes or no, the 607 do that? Yes or no, the 607 not only call out black people, he calls out them in a heinous way, like what he did with Charleston White, say he want to F them. Right? Or he tell people he going to kill them, or tell people F they gangs and F that. But no, 607 is chosen. So he's allowed to do that. Stay with me. Phase one must be the plant, because he, quote unquote, came out of what? Nowhere. Phase came out of nowhere, so he must be the plant, right? Did 607 come out of nowhere? Yes, he did. Y'all don't know who put him there or why he was summoned, right? And let's do track record for track record, and you will see phase one didn't come out of nowhere. All you got to do is research or search for Re, the light, and you will see and know where he came from, which is the golden age. Tama Re. Tama Re. That's where I came from. Or the time of Re. Or the light, the golden age. That's where I came from. How many people been seeing me? Don't I prove that every time? We can do it today. Y'all know me. We'll go through the same exact shit, piece by piece, because I have what? Time. Because my time is with Re, the sun. So no, phase didn't come out of nowhere. Yet they still handle me as if I did. You with me? So even when they try to make claims on phase one is causing, listen, what? Division. They don't hold the devils to that standard. When they causing division and calling people out and fighting and on live screaming at each other, saying they'll kill each other, all this stuff, pull up, I'll kill your kids, da-da-da-da. None of that was division. All of that was what? Divine. And then you start saying, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. That's what a lot of y'all came here and did. Y'all saw somebody coming to try to destroy the true light with moonlight, right? They attempted to shut down the sun by shooting the light of the moon into it. And you came and said, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Everything this man's saying checks out. And he's not even preaching a doctrine. Okay? or a doctored trend. He's not preaching that. He's challenging all falsehood. We know who this is. We know exactly who it is. Yeah, Smoke said he had prophetic downloads, right? Their idea of prophetic, interesting, prophetic. Their idea of prophetic downloads is these people here, the Knights Templar. Remember I told y'all the Knight Templar is the night body, not the right body, not the illuminated body, not the light body. What is the night body? The moon. That's where they get all their downloads from. So maybe that is why they only can load downward. They cannot upload. Y'all with me? Like I said, everything they talking about too slow. I'm receiving downloads. All I hear when you say that is down, lows. I'm receiving downloads. Okay? When you going to receive upgrades? When you going to get up and be great? It's all in the what? Tone. Which why they don't want to go tone for tone with me, no matter how much they trying to convince y'all they do. It took Smoke the Creator an hour and some change to get on here and run. And she came back 2 times. She was on there twice. And the second time, only thing she could do was ask a question about whether or not 1 or how 1 and 3 equals B. She didn't understand to what extent it equaled it. And I was able to explain that. And then she said, oh, you talking about what? You saw how they tried to do it? She said, oh, you're talking about physical. That's why I can't get what you're saying. I said, okay, explain it what? Explain it spiritually. Explain the spiritual side. I asked, okay, so is there a spiritual side to the heart? Is a spiritual side to everything? Okay, well, explain it. I'm going to go on my. Yeah, that's the safer thing to do. Because then you can do what's called fake dominion. You can fake dominion. I'm not going to fight for dominion here. I'm just going to fight for progress. So you can say something and I'm going to look it up. Y'all see me go to I'll go to the computer and we'll look it up. You say I don't have the idea. Okay, I'll have somebody pull up the etymology. You say, we're going to do it. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm not doing none of that. Fake dominion. It's not real. And now we're dealing with a new dominion, anno domini. Okay? Or the time period of anu or anu. See? Anu or a knowing or anu. Everything being made anew. I will make all things new. And that only comes in when the sun comes after darkness. All right? So I know that was a good, we took it a long way. These some great questions. Anybody got any others? This is my spiritual blunt for sure. They can't do this. They can't do this. I'm telling you, as long as you understand this right here, you can do this with anything. As long as you understand this, then you can explain everything. You can explain everything. Even if the center of the explanation is, I don't know. You still understand this. Because you pick up your cross or your own startles, all right, or your own crook, and you walk and you travel. What was the question that led to this build? The first question was, what does Rahubat or Rahabat mean? Another person made a statement and said that it was said that 607 Ankh was receiving prophetic downloads. So there's a few different ones, just one. Can you tell me what book of Dr. York, what I can read to understand more of Masonry? Specifically, the Nuwapian Grand Lodge book. I just don't remember which the titles were. It's been so long. I don't remember the titles, but I know he did one for every degree. Malachi did a build for every degree. That answer it? We on heads again. Peace. Hotel Rahubat. Yeah, it's the time of Nuwapu. Y'all Nuwapians better stand up again. I keep saying it. You see, I'm making way for all Nuwapians to stand up. They can't do nothing with it. Now's your time. Who were the first Eve's seed? I don't know what you mean by that. Meaning like who were her first children? I believe that was Cain, Abel, and Seth were her first children. Again, I could be wrong though. You got to fact check me. Go read the book of Genesis chapter 2 and 3. Let's talk about the seed of the woman. I think it was Cain, Abel, and Seth. And then I don't remember what happened with Seth. Not too much on him. But I do remember the Cain and Abel had a rivalry, or Kabil and Habil had a rivalry. And then after their rivalry, Cain was cast out into Wonderland. All right? Wonderland. Wonderland. Which is the land of Nod, or the land of nudity. Nude. Those who fled. Okay? Those who tried or attempted to cover themselves from the face of the Most High. Out of their own shame, okay? Out of their own illusions, they ran and they fled. And they end up in Wonderland, which was hell. Okay, go watch the movie Alice in Wonderland again. And you'll see that the whole goal of Alice in Wonderland was to follow someone who was walking with the right habits. Okay, which is the Re habits. Okay, or the light habits. Re, right, Re, habit, who was the white rabbit. And what did the white rabbit keep its eye on? The clock. I'm late. I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello or goodbye. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. Mm-hmm. All right. Remember, the white rabbit walked around with the clock watch. Clock watching. When can I go home? And he was dealing with all these beings along the way, but he had to keep his eyes on the time. That's the one who had the right habits, the rehabits, the one who got into the real habitat, or the habitat of the sun. Okay, you got to go back to the habitat of the sun. Live in the sun, not in the moon. Rehab. Remember the book I wrote, Rehab? Go look at the cover again. Okay, Rehab. Back to the beginning. Rahub. Rahubat. Rahubat, plural. Everybody needs what? Rehab, because the world is on drugs. Was referred to as dope. Okay, or you call it dope. Amin is to pray or to worship. Okay, so people started to worship drugs, or the trickster guys, those who dupe. To dupe somebody is to trick them. So people started to worship or pray to the tricksters, and they become dragon worshipers. All right, they're up under the dragon. All right, which is Baphomet in them. You see how that works? And these people still are tricking people, duping them, or causing them to be dopes. To be dope is to be stupid, all right, or out of your mind. Look at the words, out of your mind. If you are a lunatic, if you're on the moon time, doesn't that mean you're out of your mind? If you are insane, doesn't that supposed to mean, or isn't that supposed to mean, or doesn't that supposed to mean, isn't that supposed to mean, I had to go back to school for a second. Isn't that supposed to mean that you're out of your mind? So if you're a lunatic, that's talking about the moon. Okay? You're out of your mind. Lunar. Tick. Time. Insane is an Arabic word for human beings that forgot or lost their mind. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Okay? Lunatic and insane. It all goes hand in hand. So who's going to be those who will remember? Who will remember? Who will become Zakar? Okay? Zakur. Remember. What does remember mean? Because you've been out of your mind too long, you need to become a member of Re again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Because Re within itself means what? To do it again. That's dealing with a what? A circle or a cycle. All right? So you need to do the math on where you are in these windows, because you have the moon, then you have the sun. Okay, then you'll have the moon, then you have the sun. It's that tic-tac-toe. You have to know where you are. Right now, you're in the sun cycle. Okay? So you need to know how many knocks to calculate to activate that. That's why it's an Equinox or Equinox. And how many knocks does it equal? Where the Masons at? We know this. It's 3 knocks. You knock 3 times. Why? Because this one has to open, this eye has to open, and this eye has to open. That's the only way you get up out. And that is an arrow, family, pointing upward or outward, which is inward. 3 knocks. And then you'll be able to open up the way. Okay? Open up the way. All right? Any questions? You see how I go? Say we go 1,000,000 miles if we want to. So many ways to the center. You got it. You got it. This is upside down. The elect, this is how you draw that out. Because it's an arrow. Okay? It's pointing upward, which is inward. I already showed y'all that science. So should nobody be telling y'all we need to be on duality. Duality is beneath us. Okay? This is the top, the capstone. Arrow pointing up. This is duality. Okay? Down here. That's duality. This is where you're supposed to be. Not this. Okay? I'm going to draw it better for you. It's not supposed to be this. It's supposed to be this. Because this, if you flip it around, won't be the same symbol. Where is that? You see that? It's upside down now. But if I flip it around, okay, froze for a second. If I flip it around, this symbol, it stays the same. So this is the law of correspondence, and this is duality. And you are not dual beings as elect. Okay? It's that simple, y'all. Any other questions? Yep, correspondence. What I told you correspondence mean? Your core or your centra. Okay, you want to know what centra is? I'll show you because you asked. You didn't ask, but you need to know. Cent. Re. Centra. Centre. Century. Century. Okay? What is century? Go watch the movie, what? Thunderbolts. The elect is a message for you, and it's coming through right now. Go watch the movie Thunderbolts, which is lightning bolts. Okay? Because ain't no thunderbolts. It's lightning. Get it right. There was a supreme being that was made, and his name is called Sentry in the movie. And he accessed the same type of awareness that Lucy accessed in the movie Lucy. If you go watch that, she becomes what? An ultimate dark being, dark matter. Why? Because she was able to bear witness. All right? She was able to bear witness, shahada. And she became a shahada being, or a shadow beings, or a spiritual or shu, breath, life guide to understand all that is here as consciousness. Shahada. Shahada also means to witness. Okay? So martyr also means to witness, and that who becomes a shadow being has to die. He who or she who becomes like who, shadow, shehu, becomes one who dies and transitions into the true and living, not the fake and living. All right? So century is noted as what? 100 years, just as cent is a word that means 100. Okay? You have to become centered. You have to become 100% ra or re, meaning become 100%, which is 9, light, which is the sun, century. And some may think that that means light, and it does mean light, but it's a light that is in the world, and the darkness comprehended or attained it not. It's not the same type of light that you're used to. That when you see it, you'll think it's darkness because you may not have done shadow work. You seem familiar to what I'm saying? Look how many people come and say, I'm fake, I'm an agent, all this other stuff. They haven't done the shadow work. Only those that have done that shadow work will be able to overstand or obtain the light that is in the world when we come. And it's not that hard to see it once you're looking at it. I just broke it down to you and built it up. All right? That light is there. But you'll think it not that light because you haven't obtained that which allows for you to behold it yet. And in that movie, all who were running, remember there's captions I tell you, don't run, don't run, don't run, don't run. What happened? They got zapped. And they had to go into that loop anyway. And they still had to deal with it. You can't run from the truth. Only a fool ducks when the truth is thrown at him. You want to know why? Because you're trying to duck at something that's bigger than you. You're trying to duck something that's larger than yourself. That's a fool. That's like a car is coming at you 100 miles per hour. Listen, and you dip down. You know what I mean? You just duck. Oh, shit. You're still going to be flat when it's all over. Just like they show you in the movie. You can't run from it. Only a fool ducks when the truth is thrown at him. Doesn't mean you can duck the truth. The reason why what makes you a fool is you thinking you can duck it. It's larger than you. You understand that? All right. So y'all go watch that Thunderbolts movie and you'll understand it's all about shahada work. Shahada work. Bearing witness to what? The one or oneness or oni. One. Uni. All right? Which is umi. Okay? Which is a mom. Or amun. Or what? Aum. Or om. See how I just showed you that? That's one. The most basic or most quantum tone of this reality. So Oni means mother, if you didn't know that. Yoni means one, together. Notice how when you say together, you're saying you have to go back to what? To get her. You lost her. And when did we lose her, Omari? I got y'all answer that just because you asked me. We lost her when we lost track, one, of time, zero. The sundial. Okay? When we lost track of time, after we stopped observing the sundial, we stopped honoring Ashera. Okay? Or we stopped honoring our mother and our father. Ashera. We stopped honoring Asera, which means the sun. We stop honoring Eser. Eser means time. In Arabia, go look it up. Also means to squeeze, by the way. So we stopped honoring that and we fell from solar beings, okay, which is solo theism, if you want to say it that way, solar, the sun. And we fell into mono beings, individuals, and we began to fail or fall. Monotheism, which is moon. We fell up under sin, and then everybody after us started to be born in sin. They were sin born. And rare was it that people were what? Highborn. Okay? Meaning most were born out of lust. How many people you think are born into this plane and their parents were not in lust when they conceived them? Exactly, right? You can't think. Say, how are you going to ejaculate without lust? Exactly. You wouldn't understand it unless you were able to vibrate here. Because it can be done. It has to be done through what? Love. It has to be done through that. Okay? So, people fell up under sin. And they lost Asherah. And they started to go, and this is biblical, you'll find it. They went around cutting down the Asher poles, or the oblis. They started to cut down the oblis. All right? Which is that sign of the original writings, for one, and the sign of the phallus, okay, or the penis in its erect or elect state, okay, a symbol that life was near. All right? And people lost their way. As soon as Isis or Isis was chopped down, the true and living. Why do I say true and living? Because Eve is the real father. You can still say Abba. Okay? Phonetically, Eve and Abba don't sound alike. But if you're saying it in terms of how it's pronounced in Hebrew or Ibri, you'll say Eva or Eba or Abba, Ava, which is why Ava and Eve mean the same thing. So when you pray, the father, the true father was the woman, okay? The true mother was the woman, okay? And the seed bearer was the man. Are you with me? Why am I saying that? How many ovaries is it? You have this one, you have this one. How many lungs you have? This one, this one. You have how many breasts? You have this one, you have this one. There was already symmetry in the being that carries you to cultivate your being. Someone just had to bring the seed. So this was a symbol that life was near, but this is not a symbol of life. But when you lost the symbol that life was even near, what you also lost was time. Because then what happens now? Where's the shadow? And if you're not in the shadow, you're not in the light. Maybe I missed somebody. I don't want to miss nobody. But maybe I think I missed someone with that. If you're not in the shadow, you're not in the light, because you have to be in the time frame. These were the original clock hands, the shadow. And that's how they knew what time it was. And they merited what they were going to be doing based on time. So we lost time. Remember, I had a song called Lost Time in the Wedding of the Lamb album. Far away from where we started. Different day from where we first departed. All right, promise on that night of power, I will stay on target. So what people think is darkness is, and what people think is light is actually darkness. What does that mean? What people think is heavy or wisdom ain't. All right? Or what people think isn't wisdom is. And then what people think isn't wisdom is, and what people think is wisdom isn't. Some people possess just a fake light, and that could be what happens when things are reflected. You think you're looking at a thing. Some people possess a fake light, meaning you don't even have a reference to understand a reflection in that moment, or refraction or anything like that, because there's no information coming through. You have a lack of information. And then you have those who withhold information. They still know it, but then they don't teach it to others. So they yield more people who are living in a fake light or an illusion. Light is just what? Information. And that's how we know where we're going. That's how we knew where we were going. All right. Any questions? Because it keeps going. It doesn't stop. Any questions so far? What do you want to know? Do you think we're living in a backwards world? It depends on where you are. I'm not. Everything's moving forward. But it depends on where you are. Okay? Everything is expanding. For me. But some people is not the same. Keith's smart, but is deeper than him. I ain't see what the thing was. It said me, yeah, I don't know what you mean. Yielding information makes you false light. What do you mean by that? So living in the shadow means you are in the light. You have to understand what that reference is for, so you don't think that that applies to everything. Okay? That reference is for the sundial. Okay? So if it's 9 o'clock, this is 9 o'clock. If you're on time, you will be where? Right there. You understand? It's a reference, an analogy, an allegory. It's not saying to live in the darkness. Because then if you misrepresent that or misunderstand that, then you'll think that you're supposed to be up under Sophia and them, like a lot of people misunderstood what was being said. Can I break down how to do shadow work? Yeah, I can. You start with the dot. You start with the dot. What's the dot? When you are looking at a map, what does the dot represent? Who knows? You are here. Right? That's the dot. Antuk or antut aptahen. You are here. You start there. Where are you? What's going on with you right now? So maybe you're in a question space. Maybe you're in an illusion space. Maybe you're in a disillusion state. What state are you in or what space are you in now? Start there. And then branch out and access ideas and pull them where? Toward the dot. You have to condense it. You have to condense everything. Pull it into the dot. That memory you want to get away from, you need to pull it into the dot. That person you're trying to heal from, you need to pull it right there to the center. Because you needs to be what? Center. Okay? You have to pull it there. Why am I saying that? Because you have to look at it from another standpoint. Imagine that what I just drew was this. Okay? You'll miss it if you don't. This what I just drew is the same thing. It's just from a different what? Point. And if you don't have the advantage, you won't see it. But it's one and the same, depending on where you're standing. Now you stand over here. Okay? Stay with me. And you see the standing over, maybe another view could say this is standing over, but you'll see what I mean. This is coming inward. Just like this is coming inward. And then it must project outward or be what's referred to as funneled. Okay? You need to be able to funnel. Where are you funneling it to? This right here, which is a what? Is referred to as a black hole. Okay? What happens when things enter into a black hole? They enter to not be. When you enter into a black hole, you enter to not be. Because those who are standing in a position, if they could, to observe you entering, would be in the realm of being that you would be in before entering. And everything after that ceases to exist to the beer or the being that is outside of that which is this. So it doesn't break the laws of physics. The energy is not destroyed. It just becomes a part of you that is not you. This is the science of Shiva. Shiva, which means that which is not. Okay? Shiva. And Shiva is also, that means what? 7, which is the center. It's an arrow pointing to the same thing I'm talking to you about. The center, the dot, or kut, or kitab, okay? Or kut, the axis. Stay with me. I'm showing you how to do it. It's going to, all this going to be in your subconscious. So you pull everything that's bothering you. Instead of trying to push it away from yourself, you pull it in. You grab these ideas and you tame them. You grab these versions of yourself and you silence them. And you stand in that state of authority. Okay? And you speak everything into the center with this mantra that says, I am centered. If you say centered, that could work. Or you could also just say, I am simple. Center. I am center. This one may be a little more powerful for some of y'all, depending on whichever one you want to do. What's the purpose here? The purpose here, so you don't think it's being lost. I is every piece of you that you can fathom from your experiences, from things you haven't experienced yet. Okay, from your ideas, your personalities, your hate, your love, your lust, your ambitions, aspirations, inspirations. You know what I mean? The people you love, the people you don't love, your family members, everything that is a part of your mind's eye accounted for that has to be reconciled anyway. That's why you go into the heart science of the weighing of the heart ceremony. Okay, you're accepting responsibility for it. That is you. And you pull it all in. And the uttering or the affirmation of I am center places you in a seat to say, not only do I take responsibility for it, I take responsibility for that which I know and what I don't know, or that which I am not in the mind to think of now. So you pull it all into accountability. Now you can count it or calculate it. And how do you calculate it? You bring it all down to its quantified state. You go quantum. I'm showing you what to do. After you pull it there, you step into that frequency mentally, and then you step out of it by funneling everything outward, which is what? Inward, to that black hole. And then it disappears, meaning not vanish, okay? Because that doesn't even happen when you enter a black hole. You just disappear. You go against appearance. In this reality, it steps out of the light. So it's no longer a part of you, and your mind's eye no longer accounts for it because you already accounted for it. Watch what happens after you do that. When you funnel it out, which means you funnel it in, okay, it's that law of correspondence. You unlock something and you lock something. What are you unlocking? You're unlocking a new you, okay, or a new you, and you're locking up an old in you or an old you. Okay? So you lock this one up and this one becomes available to you. So you step in up and out of the frequency of whatever was accounted for. You accept you for you. I did this thing. Okay. Not only is the event within itself a part of my being, the knowing that I did it is a part of my being, who was affected by it or what was affected by it, known or unknown to me, is a part of my being. I accept it. I don't reject it. Because rejecting it is just going to do what? You're going to try to push it outward. And it's going to linger. Whatever this is, it's going to linger. And then when your time is up, okay, and you have to be centered, everything is going to be pulled back to the center that you didn't deal with. So it's better to deal with it when? Now. So that they don't have to deal with it. Whoever, if anybody, has dominion in that realm as what's referred to as Ma'at. Ma'at. So that's why you say you must respect Ma'at. Meaning look at it again. You think you know what it is. Look at it again. Ma'at. All right? So what's the simplest answer of all of this? You accept who and what you are. That's shadow work. You accept the seen and unseen of you. Shadow work. You remember your programming allowed for you to do whatever it is you've done and will allow you to do whatever it is you will do. And at any given moment, at a moment's glance, you can what? Reprogram yourself. With that knowing alone, though. The moment people start saying, oh, I don't have no program. I ain't programmed. They're clueless. Everybody's programmed. It's just, what is your programming? Which goes right back to what? Computer science. So doing shadow work for the simple ones who may not understand everything I'm saying, no disrespect, is accepting who you are, not rejecting who you are. All right? You accept each and every aspect of yourself And even the traumatic events, you accept it and say, this has occurred. Then Ma'at has no choice but to respect you, because if nothing else, you dealt with it truthfully. This has occurred. Let me pull this to me. I'm centered. This person doesn't like me at work. Let me pull this to me. I'm centered. I accept that they don't like me. And I can change my behavior and they can fall in love with me tomorrow, or I could change my behavior and they like me less, or I could change my behavior and nothing changes about them. Either way, all of those variables exist within the realm of existence saying what? This being doesn't like me. So I accept that realm of existence. It has nothing to do with me. I let it go. And the only way I can let it go is to pull it in. This is the law of correspondence. Trying to shove it down or shove it out, like they said in that Thunderbolts movie, it ain't gonna do it. It's gonna make it worse, and you'll be stuck in a loop. That becomes your hell. That's when you see people walk around depressed and they're trying to push something away instead of dealing with it. This person left me. Yeah, it could be depressing. All right, how about this? Stand up and know that that's a part of it and keep walking. Or you'll deal with it another way and try to push it away. Why do people do that, or how do people do that? For one, it's because it's uncomfortable to deal with it. People don't want to go through discomfort. And how do they deal with it? They try to drink it away. They try to sex it away. They try to pornography it away. They try to smoke it away, right? They try to party it away. They try to murder it away. Depending on some of these gens that's coming out here now, they try to murder it away. Okay? It still won't go away. And then at that last moment, I won't be there with you. Only you will. All right? And your counsel is going to be ding. And it's going to be, this is not what you'll see, by the way. Well, how about this? Let me stop saying that. Everything that I just said for the past, because I get on people for trying to explain about after this. So let me not do that. Even though I have let me not do it though. Now it's too late in the game. How about this? Allegorically speaking, okay, when it's your time to leave, you'll still have to deal with it. And when they say things like your life flashes before your eyes, okay, that's your judgment that they're talking about. And Ma'at deals with judgment. All right? So it's not no scary thing, is it? You want to know why it's not scary? Because every part of you, even the parts that you don't know of you, will only be accessible truthfully through you. Not through or by anybody else. Remember this formula. Because if you walk outside naked and forgot that you ain't had your clothes on, and people saw you naked, no, they didn't. You just walked out naked. Has absolutely nothing to do with them. Has everything to do with you, truthfully, because you cannot vouch for their experience. I saw them see me. What if they weren't even looking at you? But they were looking right at me. Okay, what if they were looking right at you and didn't see what you did? Or what if they did? The truth is, you can only deal with what your experience is, truthfully, that says you walked out there with the clothes off. It'll just be you and you. So you might as well deal with it now. All right? That's your shadow work. Don't avoid the things you need to do so that you can walk more upright. Don't avoid them. Trying to put them off. You never know your what? Striker's time. Your striker's time could be any moment, mine included. So don't put it off. Because then you'll be like, wait, I didn't finish this thing. And guess whose ears going to perk up? My eye. And she's going to say, that's a violation. What do you mean you didn't finish? Oh, so you expect us to return you to your being so you can finish this one thing? How about this? I'm going to deal with what you just said, truthfully, because you're in a realm of truth. By the way, you can't speak anything but it. I'm going to deal with what you just said, truthfully, and I'm going to cause you to go, what? Start over. Just go back. And you get thrown back into a loop. And until your code is placed in a frame to be able to spawn a new one, you'll be stuck before you'll restart. You'll be stuck reliving that idea that you didn't do a thing until you're able to start over. And just that being stuck in it within itself is saying you're not ready. So you'll come back. It's all allegorical. Don't worry about the afterlife part. Just deal with what I'm saying for now. Okay? Everything I just said for the past 30 seconds is allegory. Right now, deal with yourself 101 truthfully. Don't avoid anything. Anything you don't like, accept it about oneself. You know, accepting doesn't mean like. Accepting doesn't mean dislike. You just accept it. You'll be a central being or a century being. 100%. I'm going to keep it 100 with you, right? Say, Faise, you keep it 100 because I'm a century. You know what I mean? And who can attack the center? You can't attack the center. You saw the movie, right? Spoiler. Ain't shit they could do with that nigga. They couldn't do shit with the center. All right? All right. Any other questions? Let me turn this light on so we get a little more light ahead. Y'all go ahead and ask y'all questions so we get it popping. All right. What we got? Who got questions? So is the marriage is marriage and man and woman coming together and being one flesh false? No, not necessarily. Consummation is still a thing. It's not fake because all they're doing is putting a word to an occurrence that happens naturally. So man and woman, all right, this will be, I almost drew it another way, but I don't think people are ready. Okay. So this will be man, this will be woman, right? They come together, all right, and they become one flesh. That's just reality, and they yield new realities because of it. Okay, which become new people. Sometimes it happens that way, not all the time, because again, sometimes people just coming together, they consummate a marriage, and they're married, but there's no children that come with it. All right, he said it's blurry. It probably is. Either that or the light done did it. All right, I don't think that changed much. Okay, but no, it's not. That's not fake. Another thing is some people don't believe in marriage conventionally speaking. Some people think that as soon as you like somebody and you say, this is my wife or this is my mate, that's your mate. Some people think you need paper to do it. And then those who pay attention to scripture, they say, okay, that happens when you have sex with someone. So that a lot of that is based on belief. But the ultimate part of it isn't fake. The fact that it happens and they just put a name on it. So you do cling on to somebody and you can become one flesh. All right. Now, then there's derivatives of that you'll find more information on it. And there's variations within that. Because what happens when a man and a man cling on to one another, or a woman and a woman cling on to one another? Is that marriage? Now, some people might say religiously, no. But if we're speaking on marriage as far as two fleshes coming together as one in carnal sex, then even the men come together, they are married at that point. If that's the definition. You know what I'm saying? So unless they want to say that it's just reserved for the heterosexual interactions. That makes sense? What does the distance of the circle from the dot have to do with time? Does time become faster the smaller the circle? What does the distance of the circle from the dot have to do with time? Does time become faster the smaller the circle? I'm not understanding what you're saying. Maybe you can ask it another way. What are you asking? Nika, huh? Do you think we'll ever get to a time where we get to meet the original creators of the world? I don't know. It's possible. I don't know. I don't know if y'all would want to meet them. Because if you meet them and you figure out that y'all are a slave race, I don't think you'll have a great day. It just depends. But again, I don't know. I have no idea. Explain 1 and 0 binary code. Is it part of quantum physics? Yeah, it's a part of quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and specifically quantum computing. All right, in the sense of quantum computing, it goes beyond just zeros and ones. Okay, it becomes this, if that makes sense. All right, it's no longer just about the position of the number. All right, it becomes its super position. All right, so you're not even just dealing with bits at that point. Bits is binary digits. So you're no longer dealing with bits. You're dealing with what's referred to as qubits, quantum bits, or quantified binary digits. So they're saying that there's a quantification process that applies to even numbers. They can quantify numbers, and they're read in certain systems like computers. You understand that? Yeah, the boy and the cigarette, the boy and the cicada, right? You see the symbol you just put? That's a good representation of it. I love the breakdown of Asherah. I chose that name as my Hebrew name years ago after my father told me I needed to choose my own since I was raised a Hebrew Israelite. Yeah, for sure. Asherah. And this is the time of Asherah, or the woman. That's who we got to find. The women. And wake them up. This is that Finding Nemo. You want to know how? You got the Nemo. This is it right here. Finding Nemo. Finding women. And helping them with their what? Memory. Because that's what was going on with Dorothy. Okay, if that's what the girl name was, her name Dorothy, the little fish. She had memory issues. Help her remember who she is, the woman. And get her back in touch with her. Can you speak on the draconian race with the Lyrian war? I could. Only thing about it is, what is it? It's like, I don't know what is happening with that. You know what I mean? Like, I could talk about what the draconians are doing, where they came from, who they princes. But Malachi York already covered all this. I don't know what's happening right now with that. And nobody told me from their races. Nobody came down and said, hey, before you go live, I just want to let you know we still hidden with one another. So simple answer is I could, but I don't see the reason. Because there's plenty of people talking about it. But they don't know. They're not draconians and they're not Lyrians. That makes sense? Oh, Dory. Yeah, Dory. Yeah, she was struggling with memory. Anything else? I don't know why the screen I think the screen may be like that because the lighting. The lighting ain't hitting really that hard. Any other questions? Are the celebrities being controlled or are they choosing not to not be censored? That will depend on which celebrity is being questioned. As far as being controlled, there are many ways that have been spoken about that you're able to control a person or a being. One of those ways was through Mind Control Ultra, okay, what is referred to as MK Ultra. Other ways, you drug them up. Other ways, you put them under hypnosis. And when you put them under hypnosis, you spew things into their subconscious or channel things, tune things into their subconscious. That doesn't necessarily control them, but it alters their willpower. It alters their ability to make decisions, which falls in that category. It subjugates them. It places them in some type of comatose. So even though they're walking around, they're still suffering from that or those effects of that comatose. So everything they do is like they're sleepwalking. There are multiple ways to control a person. You can control a person with leverage, all right, or through threats of compromise, all right, or threats of releasing, which becomes leverage, information on you of a time period that you were compromised in. So let's say they got you on camera doing this, that, and the third at a party when you got drunk, all right, or when you got drugged up or laced. So even though you were laced, okay, they'll still say, well, this is you. And before you'll be able to prove that you were laced, you have to get over the humiliation of whatever the event was. Right? So you got men, especially in this world, is unless you are one of those who are homosexuals, being with a man isn't something that you would even want somebody to play with you saying that you was with them. But if they have a video on you and you were laced at some party or drugged up at some party, people wouldn't focus on whether or not it was assault. They would clown you to the end of the earth about the act itself. And men know that, including the ones who, I'm not going to say no names, right? But if you did hear a name, whether you did hear a name or you didn't hear a name, either way, you might hear a name. If you did, then that's good. But if you didn't, you didn't. Either way, I didn't hear you. Did you hear it? Did he hear a name? Did he? I don't know. Either way, certain ones of them, they powerful like that, and they got videos on a lot of people. Okay? So a lot of people are butt broken into participating into even more heinous things, and that leverage gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and they'll pull that card on somebody, and then next thing you know, there's a leaked video. You don't know where the video, then TMZ has it. TMZ, one of the main funnelers. The TMZ got the video. How did TMZ get it? Da, 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 da. And they'll put it out. The press covers it. And no legal and law enforcement, nobody steps in and says, stop this, da, 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 da. This is revenge porn. No, it all comes out and everybody knows about it. They know why it happened and why they had to go through that humiliation. And it's because they might have challenged this or challenged that, da, 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 da. Right? Or they'll just outright lie on you and threaten you with lying on you and say, yo, if you do this, then we're just going to say that you did this. And then you ain't going to be able to fight it. And they'll blackmail you into doing whatever. So there's multiple ways to control it. I know it's a good question, but just remember how deep and dirty this game is, okay, that these celebrities are playing. And that's why a lot of them are watching me, trying to figure out how does he know all this stuff. And they also and I know that firsthand, they also paying attention to whether or not I'm going to be able to destabilize it and neutralize it. They hoping so. But then their contracts make it be that they have to speak out against me. You know what I'm saying? They contracts make it be that they can't say my name, because if they say my name, then they're helping me. So it's a real tough situation for them to be in. Ultimately, the celebrities are being controlled on various fronts, and sometimes it's on a soul level. Sometimes it's magic. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's technology, sometimes it's biology, and sometimes it's just outright threats, a threatening manner that they're able to control people with. Like Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. In the song Letter to Tory Lanez, which we're supposed to be dropping it soon, y'all will hear me say toward the end, y'all ever considered that maybe both of these people were victims of what? Extortion. Y'all trying to blame this side over the other. You're not paying attention. It's possible, listen, that both of them are victims. Okay? Let me just put this out there. This is a theory. It's possible that Meg Thee Stallion could have opened her car door, walked out, stepped on some glass. All right? And they were being pulled over for something else, had nothing to do with any of that. Yet, okay, watch. The reports could have been, I stepped on some glass, I cut my feet, I had a few shards stuck. They might have run with that for a few, I don't remember. They might have run with that for about a week or so. That she got injured, okay, and Tory Lanez was locked up. All right, stay with me. They could have run with that for a little while. That she was injured from some glass, and then Tory wound up getting locked up. Okay, here's how the game will do. They'll say, okay, this already looks bad. Tory been bucking anyway. We've been looking for a way to get rid of him. All right, how about this? You say it was Tory Lanez and he shot you. You say Tory Lanez shot you, but he didn't shoot me. Okay, I don't think you get what we're telling you. This is not, you don't have a choice in this. You're either going to say Tory Lanez shot you, or remember how you was just struggling and your first deal you came in 15,000 and they railroaded you, we'll shelf you for life. You know what I'm saying? We'll do this to you, or we'll come for your family. Or you'll end up in a crazy house somewhere and da-da-da-da. Okay, this is how they do now. These are dirty, demonic beings. And they run in a tight game. Certain nations of these people in these industries. Stay with me. So what happened is, next thing you know, Meg will come out and say, Tory shot me. And then there'll be a rift in time and space where now shooting is involved. So then there must be a shooter. So Tory is like, nobody shot you. So then what do people say? If Kelsey, if whoever the girl named Kelsey, if Kelsey shot, you should have said she shot her. But then he's dealing with a dilemma that they have to build on. Kelsey didn't shoot her. Nobody shot you. I'm just throwing this out there. Again, I don't know. I wasn't there. And then it becomes a situation where, and this happens all the time, y'all. Meg Thee Stallion is put into a situation where she's upset and furious about even having to go through this. And she might have had issues with Tory, all right, that had nothing to do with any of this situation. So that could funnel and fuel the flame on all of this. So let's say Tory get locked up, and then Tory puts out an album. And in the album, he's saying, you and I both know what happened. None of this is what they saying. None of that's true. Da-da-da-da, woo-da-woo-da-woo. But the industry doesn't help that album be promoted because the industry knows what's going on. So that album is like, it goes big for like a few days, and then it disappears. Where is that album? Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's bringing it up. And it's not factored in as a testimony or anybody testifying that's involved, even though Tory Lanez is involved. That gets swept under the rug. And then the one doing the interviews becomes Meg Thee Stallion, and they start interviewing her, tell her to tell her story. And so she's going and telling her story, da-da-da-da. I've seen it happen. I don't know whether or not this Meg thing, Tory thing, I don't know. But I've seen it happen where somebody get up there and they cry and everything, and they lying. I've seen that. But it's not lying out of some vicious, it may be that she has been coerced into it. And that's the painful part that y'all are seeing. Because what do you do when they might have some compromising shit on her? What do you do? And then it's like these people threaten your life, they threaten your family. These are powerful people. You with me? So all I'm saying is it's possible that nobody was shot. Or it's possible that somebody else did it and he took the fall for it and they had to put it on him. Okay? All these are possible, but the main thing people are overlooking is how powerful these people are. Okay? They so powerful, a nigga come out and say, free this person. Next thing you know, they in jail. He's like, damn, I did in jail. They pulled up some shit from 2023. Because there are certain people who are powerful enough to make things go away. And then there are certain people who are powerful enough to make things appear. And there are certain people who are powerful enough to do both. And it's at the drop of a dime. Had nothing to do with no money either. Because of their rankings. So that's why some people out here would want to speak on the Meg and Tory situation, but they scared. Because if they say their true thoughts and it goes against a particular group of people, they will not even say anything. They'll just make a call. And next thing you know, your podcast don't exist and you're blackballed. And nobody's working with you. So not only have your podcast been taken down without anybody giving you an explanation, they also know to never help you get on your feet. Don't pull him on to know this, that, and the third. Blackball. You'll witness blackballing happen very subtly. It ain't like they come out and say, we don't fuck with this person. They blackballed Rollo for Islam. You with me? Not only just for Islam, Rollo, I can look and tell, ain't willing to do certain shit that other Atlanta rappers were willing to do. So you won't see Rollo at certain all-white parties. Stay with me. And then they have to come and defend it and say, I can't have these pictures out here like this. Why do those pictures exist? Why do those pictures exist? And that's just a picture. You know what I mean? And you'll see certain people that work in certain fields coming out saying certain things about people they done did business with. Certain women come out and say, this person like this and this person like that. And you're like, ain't no way. It's Atlanta, first of all. Second of all, there's always a way. Well, you could tell Rollo wasn't going for certain shit. So after he come home, he was even talking about it now. He said, they stopped fucking with me. He's telling y'all he blackballed. But why? The main thing is Islam. And then secondly, especially whether you know it or not, especially if you embrace phase one, oh, then they scared to come near you, because the main thing is keep this business going as long as we can. Anybody that really threatens it, don't help them. But if you listen, this is how you would know whether or not I was an agent, industry plant, or somebody that was like they was rooting for me to help y'all be destroyed. You would see me on a couch for some podcast with a light, telling my story and talking and saying all kind of crazy shit. Then you'll see me on Adam 22, No Jumper. And then after that, you'll see me on 85 South. And then after that, you'll see me at a council meeting, town hall. And then after that, you'll see me everywhere people look. And it will be seamless for me to do it. DC Unfly, the rest of them, they wouldn't have ignored me. Carlos, whoever the dude is, he wouldn't have ignored me. Nick Cannon, he wouldn't have ignored me. You'll see me on Nick Cannon. His platform, they would have blew me up. Y'all would have saw me everywhere that they put these people. Because it aligns. You telling me these people are spiritual, pushing a message, and it's supposed to help people wake up. And the blogs that are a part of that web of people, it's a web. If you don't know, the blogs that are a part of this web, this World Wide Web, on the World Wide Web, to trap people and reel them in with things that are not real, by the way. They embrace them.